Hey guys, so I apologize. I definitely forgot to start a new video. I didn't realize it had stopped, and I think you missed actually a decent amount, which I apologize for. And then it got to break, so I just decided to start it again after the break. So here we are after the break. I don't know how much you guys missed or what I was talking about, so I can't finish my thought or tell you what's happened, unfortunately. And again, I apologize about that. I really wish I could fix this issue. This is a hand I want to shove with. The chances of one of them having a pair is very unlikely, so meaning I probably have a coin flip if I do get called, and the just fold equity is pretty big, so, and I technically have the best hand if I get called, so if it's not an overpair, obviously, which is unlikely. It's a hand I almost want to just 3-bet with because it's stronger, but if it was like 10s, I would probably do that because 4s, I just leave so much. It's just such a vulnerable hand if it goes to a flop that I just want no doubt about that. Something I've played around with in the past of instead of going all in, just calling or just 3-betting huge, and it's come back to bite me a couple times when I do it against a player who, I mean, sometimes I think they call and then just because I'm only doing, if it's a really bad player, which I don't think these guys are necessarily really bad players, but they'll call 2 really big bets but not 1 huge bet, which is weird. I'm not making any sense right now, but God, I kind of want to shove on him, but I'm going to call by hands that kill me, and hands that I kill enough. Well, I don't kill any hands, that's the problem. I'm going to shove here just because I feel like there's equity in it. A lot of fold equity. And, you know, it's not a horrible spot. It's actually just a coin flip, which I lose. I didn't mean to say I lose, and I lose them all the time, just I happen to lose that one. Like I said, that's such a finicky tournament. I was doing really well in it, and then I go out right after the add-on. So it's an interesting tournament. I'm gonna call. I have position on this guy, so his range isn't necessarily very strong. I have a huge hand now, I feel like, so I'm gonna try to get some extra bets in there. I'm doing this because I feel like he's still gonna call with a medium strength hand, trying to get to a semi-cheap showdown. But I think I have the best hand. Again, I should have put him on a concrete hand, which I didn't, but I was putting him on a hand that's trying to get ace-9 is what he had. I was putting him on a decent straight hand that was trying to get to showdown. I should have thrown out some concrete hands. It's not only is it good for that specific hand, it's just good for practice and thinking about how do I attack these specific hands in his range. It's even harder to do at this stage in the game because ranges become a lot wider, and one of the reasons I'm a much better tournament player than cash game player is I'm much worse when ranges are much wider, and so that really hurts me in cash games. I'm a much better player when I can really narrow down ranges, and in tournaments you really can narrow down ranges a lot more, in my opinion. And I mean, it kind of just plugs leaks in my game, I guess. I'm not as strong of a player because I can't deal with wider ranges as well, and so it kind of hides a weakness of mine playing multi-table tournaments, which every player has weaknesses, and I'm a better player because when I play with those smaller ranges. But when it gets short-handed, I think I'm a decent short-handed tournament player, but again,
the ranges get wider, so it makes it a little bit harder for me. It gets harder for everybody though, so some people are just better at it than others. I think I'm decent at shorthanded because I think I just understand those dynamics decently. I'm not gonna say I'm a master at it, but I really think I can take advantage of really bad players, but good players take advantage of me is really how I think it goes shorthanded for me. Well, I'm no longer in third. This guy has taken a big lead. And then I've evened up with the other guy. Now, if this guy raises again, I think I might 3-bet him this time. Because I haven't done that yet. And this is a pretty strong hand. I'm not going to 3-bet him huge, but I'm going to let him know that I can. And I feel like I have the chips behind to get out if he decides to go all in. And if he goes all in, I'm guessing he has a pretty strong hand, because I've shown that I can just call. And because I've shown I can just call, I guess it shows that I'm not going crazy by 3-betting him. It's not something I'm going to do every time, so I have something when I'm doing that. So he's going to give me a little bit of respect because of that. I'm going to try to keep this pot small, so I'm going to check. I'm out of position. I'm giving him a free card if he wants to take it. Chop. You can't chop on lock. And a great card fell, which is what I was kind of hoping for. I'm just trying to keep the pot small because my hand isn't strong enough to really throw in a ton of chips, so. Can't deal with it. That'd be exciting if I can take. I don't think I've taken down a tournament that I've recorded yet. That'd be fun to do. I can actually make this a little bigger for you guys. Move these over. Yeah, that's probably better. I'm not used to playing 3 tables, so I don't know. I don't usually move my screen around to fit 3 tables. I haven't raised this guy's blind once, so I'm going to do it. Should respect it a decent amount so that, you know, with weaker hands it makes a little bit more sense to do it. It's kind of an ironic thing about poker is the tighter you play, in a lot of ways there's more value raising with weaker hands. But he 3-bet me. I'm not going to call with this out of position against him. Especially, like I said, he should be giving me credit, so. I mean, he's not going to give me a ton of credit. He's not going to give me credit for a huge hand. He's not going to think I'm doing that with any 2. And 7-6 isn't any 2. I mean, it's not a good hand. It's an extremely speculative hand. It can hit flops pretty well, and it plays decently. It plays decently heads up, it really does. Because, I mean, you can hit draws that you can play really strongly, and it, you know, hit middle pair a lot, which isn't dominant, but is a good hand. It doesn't play as good out of position as it does in position, but no hand really does. It just plays a lot worse out of position than a different hand would be. Ace-King would play better out of position relatively compared to the overall strength of the hand as 7-6 would. If you understood that, congratulations, because that was a very confusing statement. I really want to call, and so I'm going to get eliminated, because jumping up the prize ladder is really nice at this point. I'm getting really short over here, like I seem to have. It's been a theme today. Probably also because I've been not playing a lot recently and trying to tighten up my game to get back to whatever winning style I used to have. Well, not that my new style wasn't a winning style. I gotta catch up with my mind. I'm blabbering. Hand I want to play, but first position, guy behind me that could do something. It just feels like a vulnerable spot to try to call. Weird spot to try to 3-bet when my hand's not that strong. The 3-bet there shows some strength though, which is a reason for making the play. I mean, if you have, I always like making plays that look really strong, just because it makes someone have to. They're not going to want to mess around with you, and it's one of the first things I felt like really gave me an edge at some point was learning that make the first play that looks really strong in a pod and you're going to take a lot of pods down. Something I used a lot years ago. Fortunately, I get called and we'll probably lose over here. Bring me down to 2 tournaments. Oh no. Well, he didn't suck out on me, but an interesting way to want to flip, I guess. I'm just going to keep going at it. Just building my stack. This is a little bit of a looser all-in, but I don't have that many blinds. I'm in middle position. It's not a horrible play if it is a bad play, which I don't really think it is. Should be paying attention a little bit more over here. My position is getting split, unfortunately. So I haven't been following this entire pot, so I can't really discuss it all that much. It's amazing how less you can understand where players are at if you haven't figured out what the beginning of the hand really entailed. It really, if you can fit the whole story together, it can make so much more sense than if you just have one piece of it. So if you come in halfway through a pot, it's really hard to figure out what a player had. Oh. I got a call for 30. Top pair is a very good hand. Vulnerable hand in a couple of ways. Someone could have a better 9, and an overcard could come. Someone could also have an overpair. Well, this guy could have an overpair. I don't think he could have an overpair. I'm going to bet into him because if he raises me, it would really tell me a lot about his hand. It's putting a lot of chips out there, but if he doesn't have an ace, it makes it really hard to call. He could have a high diamond and call, but then I might be able to check it down anyways. Well, actually, because now, unless he had the flush already or something, I feel like this 3 barrels is, his hand would have had to change in a couple